Hello there, my name is Andrew and I'm a STEM researching fuzzy little man peach, and today I want to talk about the spleen. I want to talk about Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, and why they technically should fall under lymphatic proliferative disorders and their connection to Epstein-Barr and B-cell malignancies. That's a lot. It's a lot of big words to say. Mono, the disease everybody gets in high school from kissing, has the ability to hijack a specific cell in your body and then swarm things, usually for a purpose to maintain some kind of metabolic domination over the body. So I study Epstein-Barr a lot. If you watch my channel, I've previously connected it to things like lupus, multiple sclerosis, Ehlers-Danlos, endometriosis, PCOS. I recently made all my books on that stuff free. So if you check the link pop in my bio, you can go download it for free. I run on donations. So if you guys feel like supporting me and my channel and my basic needs, you can find me on the Cash Apps and the Venmos under the Goo Man 2. But yeah, let's get into it. So I was doing some research earlier today on ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, and IBS because I have suffered from IBS. I've connected it previously to the hypothalamus and this kind of overstimulation that some neurodivergent people have in their brain that makes it a highway or nothing at all. So I was like, let's take the lens of IBS and kind of see what's going on there when we're talking about Epstein-Barr. Well, it turns out in ulcerative colitis and in Crohn's and in most cases of IBS, there's some kind of B-cell malignancy that they'll find in the mucosal lining, the piece of the immune system, and the mucuses in the stomach and or poop chute that help us digest and absorb our food. I was thinking, I'm like, if we take this modality of like viral supremacy in our bodies that causes a lot of these illnesses, we have to talk about the fact that, this virus doesn't like you to get certain nutrients, right? So it's going to do what it can to block you from absorbing certain things that, prevent it from replicating or keeping control of your body. Now I was looking up common vitamin deficiencies and supplement deficiencies and all these things that kind of go across the spectrum of tum-tum issues. Well, yeah, what do you know? It's all the same big hitters, right? So we're talking vitamin D. That's a huge one for immunomodulation. Vitamin C comes up really high in a lot of IBS patients, Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. Vitamin C is part of the Krebs cycle, and it's how ATP and energy is produced in the body. But I talk a lot about the Warburg effect and how it needs sugar in the body to replicate and use it to make all those B cells that it likes to swarm on things. Zinc, iron, magnesium, those come up as deficiencies as well. I think 82% of cases present as malnutrition. And so again, if we're taking this virus modality, that's why it's doing it, because it's not allowing you to absorb the things and get it out of your body and get your body into homeostasis, right? So even the bacterial colonies in these patients comes up differently, right? So we see this predominance of enterobacteria like E. coli is much higher in patients that have UC and have Crohn's. And again, like there's this partnership in your body between the bacterial, the fungal, the viral pieces of you that kind of run your day-to-day business. So, like if a virus wants to maintain some kind of homeostasis in your body, it's going to help the bacteria that help it to thrive. And that's where we see E. coli come in. So what was really interesting to me is I was looking up all these foods that trigger, Crohn's and ulcerative colitis and have fiber. Why would you not be able to have fiber? Because it regulates the glucose metabolism. That's why Cheerios are great for heart disease and heart problems. It's not because of the Cheerios, it's the fiber in the Cheerios. So fiber, nuts and seeds. You can't have alcohol. We talked about on a previous video that I made that alcohol prevents the glucose metabolism in the body. It suppresses the liver and will not allow the liver to release glucose, therefore cutting off that food supply. About dairy, like dairy is a natural probiotic. So a lot of the stuff that is triggering these cell swarms are because it's preventing the replication of the dominant viral strain in that body. In this case, it would be Epstein-Barr for a lot of people that have these diseases. And I've argued previously, too, that I think endometriosis and PCOS should fall under that for the same reason, because if we're talking about the glucose metabolism, it's going to hit the thyroid, and it's going to use sex hormones to do that. And that's through secondary sex characteristics like the ovaries and the uterus and the testes, all that fun stuff, right? So it hijacks that. It uses its ability to, regulate estrogen in the body to get that glucose metabolism, because estrogen and glucose are very highly connected. So when we apply that kind of modality to ulcerative colitis and Crohn's, what we're seeing is that repeated scarring and that repeated cell swarming and irritation and inflammation, right? So that we see in PCOS and endometriosis, or that we see in Hashimoto's and the thyroid, where it basically just kind of disintegrates. So that was kind of crazy to me. I think overall, we should all start lumping that kind of under, like, is it a B cell malignancy that's causing it? Like, is Crohn's really any different than endometriosis as far as the mechanism of disease, right? Finish off the most mind-blowing fact about the spleen. The spleen is the home turf for B cells. So after they come out of bone marrow, they go into the spleen, and then the spleen is responsible for the like assignments of what type of B cell it's going to be and where it goes. So that just like blew my mind, because when I was going through school, like the spleen wasn't really anything we really cared about. It was just kind of there. I was like, no, it's actually the key to everything. It's the holy grail of Epstein-Barr patients, which is everything that I just listed. So an interesting flip side that I see to the lymphatic proliferative disorders is the body's ability to regenerate certain things in really weird cases. So, we talked about endometriosis and PCOS, which is a negative swarming of, secondary sexual characteristics. And then we see things like stump appendicitis, which has been linked back to Epstein-Barr, where the appendicitis will be removed, a tiny little piece will be left, and then swarms of cells will come back down and mimic it and make a little stump appendix, which will continue to grow back. And again, if we apply that Epstein-Barr kind of like supremacy modality, what we see is it trying to maintain the bacterial colony in the appendix that it wants to maintain in the stomach, right? Because that's hard to rebuild once everything is just flushed out. We see it with ulcerative colitis, we see it with Crohn's, we see it with the cases of the female reproductive organs. And then finally, I think the weirdest place that we see it with the spleen is the liver. So we talk about how intense the liver is with regeneration. You can get most of your liver cut out and it will grow back, believe it or not. The liver is one of the strongest, most self-regenerating organs in the body. So this is interesting when you think about the spleen, because the spleen being home to all of these B cells that come right out of the marrow, they control macrophages and like apoptosis in the body and help regenerate the liver. And so, why would Epstein-Barr want your liver? Well, you can ask lupus patients. It is controlling the glucose release in your body. So when anything goes wrong with the liver, it's going to swarm the liver and make the liver swell. Or if you cut the liver out, it's going to try to make it grow back. So I just thought that was mind-bending stuff. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I just wanted to come share that. And again, if you feel like getting me dog food, groceries, any kind of basics, you can see me on the Venmos and the Cash Apps under the Goo Man too, and go download some of my free books. Enjoy.